This MAGA supporter had the audacity of showing up in Whistler, British Columbia, Canada, with a Make America Great Again hat on, and he thought that there would be no consequences to his actions because apparently we're too polite in Canada to do anything about these fucking cockroaches that are jeopardizing our future, our collective future. I'm sitting down in like a plaza, and who walks up but my new fucking little bestie? And without hesitation, I just yelled, "Your hat fucking sucks. MAGA fucking sucks." And then just like scattered like a little cockroach as they are, with my voice booing him as he went off into the fucking darkness where he belongs. I was by myself yelling like a fucking crazy lunatic at somebody in the middle of a plaza, and I didn't give a fucking flying shit, and I'm so proud of myself. If we ever see anybody that supports that presidency, you need to understand that this is no longer about right versus left, conservative versus liberal. This is gone. This is all gone. This is literally human rights or no human rights, future of this world or no future of this world, fear and hatred or love and fucking peace. I hope that that fire is lit inside of you and you guys are cranking the fucking heat up to let your voices be known and heard, that we are not going to stand with this nonsense. We are not going back into the fucking dark ages with a bunch of lunatics that are filled with hate and ignorance. We don't need that. We don't need these people. So boo a MAGA motherfucker whenever you can. And if you see somebody taking any action, join them. Join them. Let them feel the wrath of people. Let them feel our anger. Let them feel our frustration. Because it's not gonna fuel them, it's gonna fucking terrify them because they're all cowards.
Canada just handed Donald Trump a huge L in his own trade war as they put him in the find out phase. Now, as you know, Donald Trump has put the U.S. in a global trade war, and he has been especially critical of Canada, thinking Canada would just sit back and take it. Well, Canada has been working deals with other countries, and for the first time since the 1990s, they have purchased more cars from Mexico than the United States. Now, this is exactly the problem with Donald Trump and this trade war. That while eventually Canada is going to have to come to the table and they're going to have to make a deal, in the meantime, they are creating new trade lanes. And now that money that has left the United States and gone to Mexico isn't coming back when this is over. Instead, they will continue to spend that money with Mexico just in case another Donald Trump comes along. And this is exactly why everybody warned Donald Trump and Trump voters that he would ruin the economy. And we are seeing it now. And while this is a huge L for Donald Trump, it's an even bigger one for the United States.
Hello and what's up, good people? What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing great from wherever you're watching this video from today, and welcome back to the channel. Now, sometimes if you want to know how bad you're doing, then you don't need to look so deep or so far. You just need to look around yourself in your neighborhood, what people are saying, what your neighbors think about you, and the relationship with your neighbors. Now, we already know that Donald Trump has really created a hostile environment and enmity with these trade wars with virtually just about everybody in the world, and isolated the United States of America as if it's possible to live, in this world on your own. And I remember a while ago, there were some MAGA supporters whining about, US annexing some part of Canada, and Canada or Canadians were actually not happy. Now, I stumbled upon what Canadians have been saying about these MAGA suckers, MAGA crisis, and I just wanted to share with you, and let's see what they're saying about the whole of this scenario.
I publicly booed this man right here, and he's coming up with his dirty ass fucking hat on, and I looked at him and I yelled, "Your hat fucking sucks. MAGA fucking sucks." And then I booed his ass until he disappeared from the vicinity. To anybody, if you see shit like this and you can, then do it. It is no more time for politeness. It is no longer any time for like, oh, I'm too scared to embarrass myself or whatever. It's not, because these people mean nothing good for this planet. These people have spoken their minds and said, I am a racist, I am a bigot. I am a transphobe. I speak for hatred and for the fucking dark ages. So to me, you've violated every single human contract that we have for civility and dialogue. And it sucks having to come in here every single time and sound like an alarmist, but I am not gonna wait to see what the next steps, what the next 300 days of this presidency are for us to say, fuck, let's do something about this. The things that they're supporting, it's detrimental to democracy. It's detrimental to people. It's putting so many lives in danger, and it's causing problems that we will feel for generations and generations because of the actions of this one administration who gives a fuck about a single human being. We need those people to know that we are all in this together. They can't just come here parading basically at this point what is a Nazi flag and us being okay with it.
Do you want to know how bad things are between Canadians and Americans right now? Here's a short excerpt from a Maine newspaper today. Each December, the Seaside Inn sets its rates for the coming year and sends out letters to previous guests inviting them to send along a deposit to hold their room. This year, something changed. Quote, by the middle of February, I had to send almost $7,000 in deposits. And these are people I know. They are friends, said Ken Mason, the inn owner. I called each one and wanted to ask them why. He asked them if it was the tariffs. They said no. It's just basic honor, he said, especially the French Canadians. They are very, very proud. And it's their honor that they said they couldn't come back. Jesus Christ. Even before he was sworn in as president in January, Trump said he wanted Canada to become the 51st state. Former Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau pushed back. Canadians are hurt and angry, he said. We're going to choose to not go on vacation to Florida or Old Orchard Beach. Well, they're doing exactly that right now. And those main businesses are seeing the result of the catastrophic policies of this administration.
Canadian friends out there, you have 1 week until your permanent 25% tariff starts.
Sorry, two things just really quickly. The first is I called everyone here, and everyone says that we're not your friend. If we could stop saying Canadian friends because you're hurting our street cred. And secondly, we're not going to take how do you like them apples from someone in a Make America Great Again hat where the hat itself is most likely made in China. It's kind of counterproductive to your statement. Yeah.
Hey Canada, there is a MAGA musician on tour in our country, and we need to talk about it. You can read this article in the CBC. Residents want MAGA musicians concert at Parks Canada historic site cancelled. This was posted this morning by Josh Hoffman. This is the dude in question. Now, I thought that was pronounced Sean Fucked, but apparently it's Sean Foyt, according to Google at least. This is the man here. He advertises himself as a missionary, a Christian missionary, and he and his family travel around and they hold sort of like revivalist situations, from what I've been told, is how they're billing it, where he sings and performs. And his website is full of really anti-LGBTQIA plus stuff and anti-critical race theory and POC, just racist and awful things. He also, back in the day, was like a big COVID denier. And not just denier, he was like holding in 2020 super spreader events where he would sing and let us worship. He's also like a darling of the MAGA crowd. At one point it was claimed that he was having an affair with Lauren Boebert, that she said that that wasn't true. He's married and everything else. But he's like in the MAGA world. He is super crazy Christian, is just very into all of it. And he has come to spread the word to Canadians. And the issue that's being raised today is because in Ferguson Cove, Nova Scotia, his concert is being held tomorrow. Although I did look up the dates and it says Friday. There seems to be a discrepancy on his website and what's being published and other sort of marketing, which will come in handy later. But Ferguson Cove residents are like, hey, he's performing at a national park. It's like a historic site. And the national park itself, the Canada National Park, says, no, we have to have fully inclusive and safe spaces, which this guy clearly is not one of those people. This is not a safe person. So the residents of Ferguson Cove are trying to say, hey, we can't allow this man to perform here. And you might be thinking, but I don't live in Ferguson Cove. Well, he has a list of places he's coming. And I'm going to share all the different sort of dates from his website. Like I said, check out locally to see if you can find out where he's coming locally, the actual location, and it might be a different date slightly, but I will show you. So we have Halifax, which is actually Ferguson's Cove, Nova Scotia, Charlottetown, PEI, Moncton, New Brunswick. Then he moves over to Quebec City, Gatineau, and Vaughan before he dips back into the U.S. and then is coming out west. Winnipeg's central. Winnipeg, Saskatoon, Edmonton, West Kelowna, and Abbotsford is his last tour date. So all through July and August. Now we could question why this man is being allowed into Canada to do this when he is known to be spreading a lot of hate. We could also say that freedom of expression is real in Canada and protected by the Charter. But that doesn't mean we have to like it. So if you want to talk to your local city, whoever's approved this concert, perhaps show up and play your own music, any sort of thing that you think would be appropriate to counteract some of the really hateful and dangerous messaging around this man, that's up to you. Just take this knowledge and organize in your own communities however you see fit and appropriate. But be aware, he could be coming to your town next.
The MAGA musician Sean Foyke, who is scheduled to perform in Halifax last Wednesday, is having his permits revoked in nearly every Canadian city. I told you on Tuesday that he was scheduled to perform Wednesday night at a National Historic Site in Halifax, and then his permit was actually revoked. Just a reminder, this performer is an anti-LGBTQIA advocate. He's anti-abortion. He's also involved with white supremacy movements and has even had the Proud Boys conduct security at some of his concerts. Now we're finding out that his permits in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, were revoked. His permits in Moncton, New Brunswick were also revoked. And now Quebec City has also revoked his permits. Canadians across the country and cities are making it clear that they do not stand for what MAGA represents.
Canadians are now boycotting their travel to the United States thanks to Donald Trump. Thanks to Donald Trump talking about making Canada the 51st state, talking about tariffs, and the way they've been treated by what they consider their best friend. Well, here's some little facts and some figures about Canadians and their expenditures for travel in the United States and why it's important. In 2024, Canadians spent $19 billion in travel in the United States. They spent an average of $1,174 per trip. Most of the money they spent on the trip, not including the airfares, but the trip, were spent on hotels, on restaurants, on bars, and other things that they purchased while they were here. Florida, obviously, is a large recipient of Canadian travel. 3.2 million Canadians visited Florida this last year. 27% of all the foreign travel in Florida was from Canada. Canadians continue to boycott travel to the United States. It will significantly impact Florida, where I live in South Florida. It'll impact the United States, and there will be thousands of jobs that will be lost as a result. This is not a wise decision from Donald Trump. Don't know what he thought he was going to gain by it. Maybe MAGA thinks it's great, but MAGA, they use those burned out light bulbs, so they're not able to see very well with their burned out light bulbs, if you understand what I'm saying. You have to be careful how I say things. But it's a huge deal. My Canadians, I love to hear from you. I know many of you have told me that you have altered your plans. You've not going to travel to the United States this year. I continue to support you. I understand. I appreciate your feedback. Please comment. Love to hear from you. And anybody else that wants to comment, love to hear from my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, and my burned out light bulbs. If you're a business in South Florida or in the United States, if you noticed a drop-off in your business, in particular from the Canadians, love to hear from you too. Love to hear feedback. All that anecdotal evidence is good to see. I haven't gotten any specific anecdotal evidence here in South Florida, but I'm looking to find what's going on and what the trends are going, because I think we will begin to see it more and more and more over time. I know, at least on my passengers and my riders that I've picked up, that they have indicated that they're breezing through customs. They don't have to wait, and that their flights are significantly lower, at lower capacity than usual.
What's next? What's the next country that's just gonna fucking throw it in our face? You tell me in the comments. Listen to this lady. She gives peak Canadian energy.
I think who I voted for would be the best to take care of Trump, because Trump is, I'm sorry to say, an ass, and he shouldn't even be president of the United States. But because he is, we need a strong person so that we can stand strong.
So when it comes to Canadians, she's like raging. What happened to the whole, we're not gonna mess with the rest of the world, it's not our business, we're gonna take care of the USA? Trump has done nothing but fuck with the entire world. This is so fucking stupid. It's wild to me that if you remember, at the end of World War II, they thought of the US as the sleeping giant that got awoke. We're doing that shit all over the place, including Canada. They were the sleeping moose who's about to go fucking buck wild with maple syrup all over us. So Mark Carney, with the surprise win for Prime Minister, purely off an agenda that was anti-Trump. Are you fucking kidding me? Only Trump, man. Only Trump can do this shit.
All right. So, you see, talking about annexing some part of Canada, or Canada in itself, might have just turned out to look like some, diplomatic bad joke. But you see, everybody has actually now learned to take serious what Mr. Donald Trump talks about. It might look like it's something impossible for any other person, but until you see him executing the most controversial things, then you'll realize that anything he says, you might need to just about take it as serious as it might sound. So Canadians are not actually not happy, not impressed, and least of it all, they are not frightened by these MAGA threats, and they are actually retaliating back and telling the United States of America, who have been their closest brothers, that if this is the way you have chosen to go, then you can go your way. We don't actually care, because I have always insisted that the rest of the world outside of America is far bigger, and that MAGA supporters should realize that the rest of the world can actually move on without America, but America cannot move on without the rest of the world. It's really ironical and awkward that you start brewing beef with your closest neighbors. Canada has always been, like the inseparable brother to America, and Mexico to the south has always been your closest other neighbor. But if you start also, beefing with your closest neighbors, what do you want the rest of the world to think about you? If you cannot live with your closest, most relatable people that you share your problems with, then I don't think you can really work with anybody else from, across the seas and far across, miles away. And see, the problem is sometimes many Americans actually love Canadians, and many Canadians love Americans when it comes to the common everyday people, citizens of both countries. However, see, the president or your political leader at any given moment is like the face of your country. And people get to judge you by that face that we see the most. So Donald Trump is actually the face of America. Anything that happens in America, it feels like it is in one way or another tied to Donald Trump, and anything he says, it sounds like it is what America is saying. And that's why it's very, very important to be careful on such diplomatic matters. Talking about, we will annex some parts of Canada so we can have more Republican states. Are you even sure that are people that you forcefully take them from where they belong would even vote for you? And how much weight diplomatically does that have? Or, you know, so basically you don't have to have a lot of, deep diplomatic knowledge to know that the relationship are not okay. The relationship is strained. You just need to look at what what basically is happening, what the common people are speaking about, and then you can tell the relationship between those states and who is going to lose at the end of it all. Because I tend to think that what Donald Trump has done is he has underestimated the influence or the independence and the power of a country like Canada. It's a sovereign state of a country like Mexico. We'll do that in another video. And he's always thought that they were hip tied to America. They were like the younger sibling or as younger brother or sister to America. Little did they know that this is a sovereign state that can make their own decisions, and they don't always have to behave in the way that you're behaving. No wonder he continues to try and put on trade sanctions and hike the tariffs in an attempt to influence what's going in Canada to look like he also rules beyond the borders to the north, and of which Canada is, not taking it lying down. And that's why they're actually coming out to say, we don't care about you. And they're actually bowing at MAGA. And they have really stated that they are a sovereign state. And many Americans are actually happy about this because they feel like it is a fight that deservedly, they're fighting, and someone else is now fighting or alongside them. So it's really a sad state when you begin to have problem with your closest of your neighbors, but that is exactly what Donald Trump is doing, because he's a master of controversy. He loves the show. He loves showbiz, to create controversy and to hit headlines. So, the camera will always be, he loves to play for the camera, and that is exactly what he is doing. And it's just unfortunate that it will have negative consequences to the American people in the long run. And the problem with such kind of dirty, careless politics is that you're going to pass policies that will outlast your political scene, your political career. At the end of it all, Mr. Trump might leave the office, and what's going to happen is some of these errors and erratic policies and the consequences might outlive his regime, might outlive his time in office, and the people that get most affected will be the people, the common everyday American, or for whom you didn't really put into consideration when you were passing such erratic decisions. Yeah, so it is a fight that continues, but we wait to see what's going to happen, and just pray and hope for the best. Yeah, so let me know what you think about this in the comment section below, and if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up, and you can share it as well. And if you're new to the channel, thank you for your time. Thank you for sticking along, sticking by, and please hit the subscribe button to be part of us. So until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.